students. So today's topic is tissue. So already you have learnt about the cells. So let us see today about the tissue, how it is classified and what is the meaning of tissue. So tissue is nothing but group of similar cells which will be functioning similar functions and as well as they will be originating from the same origin. So let us know, already you know, the cells together they will make up the tissue and tissues together they will make up the organs and organs together they will make up the organ system. So in this way tissues and as well as cells plays an important role in forming the organ system. So in case of the animals we can see the organ and organ system, but in case of plant only up to the tissue level organization can be seen. So let us know what is the meaning of tissue and how it is classified. So the tissue is mainly classified depending upon their origin, from where it is originating. So the first it was shown by the tissue word is coined by Bichet. Bichet is the scientist name and tissue word was coined by Bichet. Then later on the study of tissues. So the study of tissues is known as histology. So the study of tissue is known as histology, and histology the word it was shown by Mayer. Mayer was the scientist who shown that the group of tissues, so or the study of tissue is known as the histology. So let us know about how tissue is divided. So already we are familiar with the definition. The tissue is nothing but group of similar cells which will be originating from the same origin and they help in the performing similar functions. So let us know how they are divided. So tissue mainly divided into plant tissue and animal tissue. So plant tissue and animal tissue. So what is plant tissue? How it is again further classified? So the plant tissue it is very simple one because the plants cannot move from one place to another place. That's why their structure or the organization is very simple. But in case of animal tissue, the organization is very complicated because all cells together make up tissue. Tissues they will be making organ and organ system. So in this way, the animal tissue is having the complex organization, but the plant tissue is having very simple organization. So let us know about how this plant tissue is further divided. What is the classification of plant tissue? So the plant tissue it is mainly divided into two types. That is, first one is meristematic tissue. So meristematic tissue is nothing but which will be having the capacity to divide continuously. So the meristematic tissue which is having the capacity to divide continuously, and next one is permanent tissue. So the permanent tissue they are the permanent, as the name indicates, they are matured one, they lost the capacity to divide. So this is about the how they are divided. So the plant tissue is divided into meristematic tissue and permanent tissue, and permanent tissue is further divided into simple permanent and complex permanent. So let us know about the meristematic tissue. So how this meristematic tissue is further divided. So the meristematic tissue is further divided depending upon their position, where they are present. Okay. So let us know. So the meristematic tissue. So the word itself, the meristematic tissue, it shows that it is present in the growing cells. So it is having the capacity to divide continuously. So you can see the structure here. simple structure of the meristematic tissue. So at the tip, it is known as apical meristem. Apical meristem. So meristematic tissue is also known as meristem. Then second one is the intercalary. Intercalary means which will present in between the nose and internodes. Intercalary. So it is present in between the nodes and internodes. And here at the last one, you can see at the base the lateral meristem. The lateral meristem. So depending upon their position. So it is known as the meristematic tissue. The meristematic tissue, depending upon their position, they are divided into three types, that is apical meristem, intercalary meristem and lateral meristem. So in the picture you can see the apical meristem. So where it is present at the tip of the root or stem. Then second one is intercalary. It is present in between the nodes and the internodes. And lateral meristem, which will be present at the base of the stem. So let us know what are the characteristics of meristematic tissue. So the meristematic tissue, it is the living tissue and it is having the capacity to divide continuously. And second one, the shape of the meristematic tissue, it may be oval, round or the isodiametric. So isodiametric in shape. And the cell wall is very thin and the intercellular space. What is the meaning of intercellular space? See, if any two cells are joining, in between if you see any gap, that gap is known as intercellular space. So in case of meristematic tissue, intercellular space is not present, and as well as it consists of sometimes the vacuoles are present and sometimes vacuoles are absent, and it consists of the prominent nucleus and as well as the cytoplasm. So these are the characteristics of meristematic tissue. So their shape may be oval or round and isodiametric. The intercellular space is not present and as well as it consists of cytoplasm and prominent nucleus. So let us know what is the location and what is the function of apical meristem. So the apical meristem, where it is present at the apex or the tip of the roots and stem. So it is present at the apex or the tip of the root and stem. That's why the name apical meristem. And what is the main function of this apical meristem means which help in the growing the plant lengthwise. So the apical meristematic tissue which help the plant to grow lengthwise. And where it is present at the tip of roots and stem. So this is about the apical meristem and you can see the location. It is present at the tip of these roots or the stem. Then next is intercalary. So what is meant by intercalary? So which will be present in between the nodes and internodes, means from where the leaves will be developing. So they are present between internodes and nodes. So internodes and nodes. So from where these leaves and as well as the twigs will be developing. So what is the main function of this intercalary meristem? So it helps in development of the plant sidewise. That is these branches and twigs will be developed. Then last one is lateral meristem. So what is the main function of this lateral meristem means it is present at the sidewise. It helps to develop sidewise or the widthness. So it is another name for widthness is girth. So girth is widthness. So it helps in the widthness of the plant to grow, and where it is present means it is present at the bottom or the at the near the these base of these stem or the root. So that is known as lateral meristem. And what is the main function of this lateral meristem means it helps the plant to grow the width wise, or it is another name for widthness is girth. So in this way the meristematic tissue, it helps the plant to develop lengthwise, widthwise, and as well as the side, the twigs and branches will be developed due to the intercalary meristem. So the speciality of this meristematic tissue is continuously it will be dividing due to this division, but the division is particularly at the main region where it is present. So if it is present at the tip, only there you can see the development or the division, and the intercalary and as well as lateral. The speciality of this meristematic tissue is the growth of the plant will be occurring where this meristematic tissue is present in which region, either if it is present at the tip or at the bottom or near the twigs or the branches. So this is the main speciality of meristematic tissue. So already we know that continuously it is having the capacity to divide. That's why it is known as the continuously the cells will be dividing. That's why the another name for this meristematic tissue is known as dividing tissue, or dividing cells will be present. Due to that we can call that as meristematic tissue. It helps in the growth of the plant either lengthwise, widthwise, or the branches and twigs will be developed due to the presence of intercalary meristem. So this is about the meristematic tissue. So let us move to the permanent tissue. So what is meant by permanent tissue? So the permanent tissue, it has lost the capacity to divide. As the name indicates, permanent means it has lost the capacity to divide. That's why they will be reaching the maturity. So the conversion of this meristematic tissue into permanent tissue is known as, the process is known as differentiation. So the permanent tissue is further divided. The permanent tissue is further divided into simple permanent and complex permanent. So it is divided into simple permanent and complex permanent. So what is the meaning of simple permanent and what is the meaning of complex permanent? So let us know about that. So simple permanent means it consists of only one type of cell in them. So that's why the name simple permanent. But opposite to that, in complex you can see more than one type of cells are present in the complex permanent tissue. That's why the name complex permanent tissue. In simple permanent you can see it consists of only one type of cells in them. So let us know how the simple permanent tissue is further divided. It is divided into parenchyma, then collenchyma, and sclerenchyma. So third one is sclerenchyma. So simple permanent, it is mainly divided into parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma because it consists of only one type of cells in them. Let us know about how this complex permanent is divided. It is mainly divided into two types, that is xylem and phloem. Xylem and phloem. So this is the how it is divided. So the permanent tissue is mainly divided into simple permanent and complex permanent because it consists of only one type of cells in them. That's why it is categorized under simple permanent tissue, and they are mainly divided into parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, and complex permanent tissue is divided into xylem and phloem. So the xylem and phloem, about that already you know, they are the conducting tissues, or they are also known as the vascular bundles. So the xylem will help in supplying the water from roots to different parts of the body, and phloem, it is the food conducting tissue which will help in taking the food material which is present in the leaves to different parts of the plant body. So this is about, later on we will be studying about the complex permanent tissue. Now let us move to the simple permanent tissue and let us know about the structure and what are the functions of parenchyma. So first we will be studying about the parenchyma tissue. So what is parenchyma tissue, and as well as how the cells are arranged in parenchyma tissue and what are the further division of parenchyma. So the parenchyma tissue, they are, you can see the structure here, the parenchyma, you can see in between the intercellular space. So here you can see the nucleus, and this is the cytoplasm, and this is the intercellular space. So intercellular space means in between the cell, the gap which is present, that is known as intercellular space, and it is the cell wall, it is very thin one, and you can see this is the nucleus. So this is the structure, either it may be present round, oval or sometimes isodiametric. So isodiametric shape is like this. So either it is present in this shape or it may be oval or round, and the cell wall is made up of cellulose, and you can see the very thin cell wall will be present in case of parenchyma, and you can see the prominent nucleus, and you can see the intercellular space. Means in between these cells you can see the gap, that is known as intercellular space. Then let us know how this parenchyma is further divided. So they are divided into storage parenchyma. So storage parenchyma. Then what is the function of storage parenchyma? As the name indicates, storage parenchyma, it helps in storage of nutrients and waste material. So it is present in the parenchyma and it helps to store the nutrients and as well as the waste material. For example, waste material, you can see the gums. Okay. So in this way, it not only helpful in storing the food material, it also stores the waste materials, and that's why it is known as storage parenchyma. Then let us move to the second one. Second one is the aerenchyma. Aerenchyma means it consists of air cavities. In between you can see the air cavities, and what is the function of this air cavities means it produces the buoyancy. That is, buoyancy means which is having the capacity to float on water. So in aquatic plants you can see if aerenchyma is present, then it helps these aquatic plants to float. So that is the main characteristic of this aerenchyma. Then the next one is the collenchyma. So third one is the chlorenchyma. So chlorenchyma means the presence of chlorophyll. So due to the presence of chlorophyll, it helps in the photosynthesis. So it helps in the photosynthesis. So what is photosynthesis? Already you know. So the mainly parenchyma is divided into storage parenchyma, it stores nutrients and waste material, aerenchyma which helps to float, then chlorenchyma, parenchyma, it helps in the photosynthesis due to the presence of chlorophyll in it. So this is about the parenchyma. So let us move to the collenchyma. So the collenchyma, let us know where the parenchyma is present. The parenchyma, it is present in the tips of the roots and stem. That is the in soft parts you can see the parenchyma tissue. Mainly it helps in storage and floating, and as well as if the chlorophyll is present, then it helps in the photosynthesis. Then let us move to the second one, that is the collenchyma. So collenchyma, it is also having the structure, you can see the collenchyma, it will be having at the corner thickness can be seen, at the corner thickness can be seen because more deposition of the cellulose, and you can see this is the vacuole and this is the nucleus. So in this way you can see the structure of the collenchyma. At the corner you can see the thickness because due to the excess amount of the cellulose which is stored here. So it is the cell wall is thick because due to the presence of more cellulose, and it is the nucleus. This is the vacuole, sorry, it is vacuole, and you can see the vacuole, and you can see next one is this is the nucleus. So this is the nucleus. So mainly the collenchyma, they are either the isodiametric shape or oval in shape, and the speciality of this collenchyma is the cell wall is thick at the corner because more deposition of cellulose in it, and you can see the prominent cytoplasm, nucleus, and as well as big vacuole will be present. So this is the structure of collenchyma. So sometimes in collenchyma also, if chlorophyll is present, then it is considered as the collenchyma, and it helps in photosynthesis if the chlorophyll is present. Okay, then what is the main function and where it is present? So it consists of the more deposition of the cellulose, and it is present at the branches, and as well as the main function of this collenchyma means it gives the flexibility. So it helps these plant to bend without breaking. Due to the presence of this collenchyma, the branches will not break due to the presence of this collenchyma. So in this way it gives the flexibility for the branches and as well as twigs. So this is about the collenchyma. So let us move to the sclerenchyma. So sclerenchyma is also having the same structure, but instead of these cellulose, it will be having the material known as lignin. So it will be having the material cement-like structure. Lignin will be present at these corner, and it gives these mechanical support. Due to this presence of lignin, it gives the mechanical support. The parenchyma and collenchyma tissue are living tissue, whereas the sclerenchyma tissue is the dead tissue because it consists of the outermost cell wall is made up of lignin, and here it is the dead tissue. So where this sclerenchyma tissue is present? So it is present outside the nuts and as well as the husk of coconut. Because it is the dead tissue, it acts as the protective tissue in the plants. And for example, you can take the husk of coconut and the walnut. The outermost covering is made up of sclerenchyma tissue, because due to the presence of lignin, and this is the dead tissue, and here there is no cytoplasm or vacuole cannot be seen, and it gives mainly mechanical strength for this where the sclerenchyma tissue is present. So in this way, we have studied about the simple permanent tissue. It consists of mainly parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. So let us move to the complex permanent tissue, that is xylem and phloem. So what are xylem and phloem and what is the main function of xylem and phloem? So already you have studied about the xylem and phloem tissue, where they are present and what is the main function of the xylem and phloem. Why it is considered as the complex permanent tissue. So first let us learn about that. So the complex permanent tissue, because it consists of more than one type of cells. Because it consists of more than one type of cells. That's why the name the complex permanent tissue, but simple permanent tissue only one type of cells. Only one type of cells. So this is the main difference between the simple permanent and complex permanent tissue. So the complex permanent, it consists of more than one type of cells and they are divided into xylem and phloem. So the xylem and phloem together they are known as vascular bundles. So vascular bundles. Why? Because they are the main conducting tissue which will be taking the water and as well as food, and it will be supplying to each and every part of the plant body. So let us know what are the main component of phloem and what are the main component of xylem. So the xylem mainly consists of four types of cells, that is the xylem parenchyma, the tracheids, vessels and xylem sclerenchyma, or the sclerenchyma another name is fiber. So mainly the xylem consists of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem sclerenchyma. Similarly, phloem consists of four types of tissues, four types of cells, that is CU tubes, companion cells. Then the phloem parenchyma and phloem sclerenchyma, or the another name for sclerenchyma is fiber. That's why it is considered as the complex permanent tissue. In case of simple permanent tissue, these parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma, they consist of only one type of cells. But in case of complex permanent tissue, they consist of more than one type of cells. So let us know about what are the main functions of xylem and phloem. So the xylem tissue, it is considered as the water conducting tissue. So the xylem, it is considered as the water conducting tissue. So it will be taking the water from roots to the different parts of the plant body. So the xylem, it is considered as the water conducting tissue and it helps in taking the water from roots to different parts of the plant body. So roots to different parts of the plant body, that is from downward to upward. So it will be taking the water from downward to upward only in one direction. But in case of phloem, the food which is present in the leaves, though that is the phloem, it is considered as the food conducting tissue. So it will be collecting the food from the leaves. So the leaves, it consists of the food which is stored in the form of starch. So it will be stored in the form of starch and this food will be taken by this phloem tissue and it will be supplying the food in any direction. So in case of xylem, it is taking only in the upward direction, but in case of phloem, it will be taking in any direction. So in any direction, the phloem, it will be taking the food from leaves to different parts of the plant body. So this is one major difference, and the xylem will be taking the water from roots to the different parts of the body. Phloem, it is the food conducting tissue. It is taking the food in the form of starch which is present in the leaves. It is supplied to each and every part of the body. So it can take the food in any direction. But in case of xylem, it will be taking only in the upward direction. So the xylem, it consists of the material, that is the outermost covering. It consists of lignin, that is the cement-like structure, the substance which is responsible for giving the mechanical strength. Only in xylem you can see the lignin is present, but in case of phloem, lignin will not be present. That's why this phloem will not give the mechanical strength for this phloem tissue. But in case of xylem, the lignin material chemical substance, due to the presence of this chemical substance, it will give the mechanical strength. So this is about what is xylem and what is phloem. So what are the components? Let us write on the board. What are the components of xylem and what are the components of phloem? So the xylem, it consists of 4 types of the components, that is the cells, 4 types of cells, that is xylem. So the components of xylem are, the first one is the tracheids, second one is vessels, tracheids, vessels, third one is xylem parenchyma, then fourth one is xylem sclerenchyma, So these are the 4 types of cells present in the xylem, and in conducting water, these tracheids and vessels, they plays an important role in conducting the water from downwards to upwards. Let us know about the phloem. What are the main components of phloem? So what are the main components of phloem? So phloem also consists of 4 types of cells in them, that is the sieve tubes, second one is companion cells, and third one is phloem parenchyma, and fourth one is phloem fiber. So these are the 4 types of cells. The xylem consists of tracheids, vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem sclerenchyma, and phloem consists of 4 types: sieve tube, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fiber. So these sieve tubes and as well as companion cells, they help in taking the food from the leaves to different parts of the body, and in case of xylem, tracheids and vessels, they will be taking the water from the roots to different parts of the plant body. So here in case of the xylem, all the tissues are the living one except the sclerenchyma or the fiber, and in case of phloem, you can see always the fiber, the phloem fiber, it is the dead tissue. So in case of this xylem and phloem, you can see some are dead tissue and some are living tissue, because due to this presence of these different types of cells, the xylem is able to take the water from roots to different parts of the plant body, and due to presence of these types sieve tube and companion cells, the sieve tube, it is having the structure like sieve. Small holes will be present. Due to the presence of these holes, it can take the food. And the tracheids, it will be having and it is arranged like the pipeline structure. due to this only it can take the food, the water from roots to different parts of the plant body, and here the leaves which will be storing the starch, it will be taken up by the sieve tubes and companion cells, and in case of phloem it can take the food in any direction, but in case of xylem it will be taking the in only one direction. So this is about the xylem and phloem, and the xylem and phloem together it is known as vascular bundles. So they are also considered as the conducting tissues. The xylem will be conducting the water from roots to different parts of the plant body, and phloem will be conducting the food to different parts of the plant body. So one difference is here I have shown the roots. Here the xylem will be taking the water only in the upward direction, but in case of phloem it will be taking the food in any direction. The sieve tubes which will be having the structure like sieve plate, it is considered as the sieve plate, which helps to take the food which is prepared and stored in the form of starch to each and every part of the plant body. So this is about the xylem structure and as well as the phloem. And what are the main important parts means the tracheids and vessels. It helps to take the water from the roots to the different parts, and here the sieve tubes and companion cells which help to take the food which is stored in the form of starch to each and every part of the plant body. So what are the differences between xylem and phloem? The xylem, it consists of very thick wall. Due to the presence of this thickening, it is made up of lignin. It gives the mechanical support, but in case of phloem the wall is very thin and it will not give any mechanical support. And the xylem will be taking the water in only one direction. So water will be taken in only one direction, that is upward movement, but in case of phloem it can take the food in any direction. And mainly the differences is the type of cells present in them. The xylem consists of tracheids vessels, xylem parenchyma and xylem sclerenchyma. Phloem consists of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fiber. And depending upon their structure, the xylem can give the mechanical support, but phloem cannot give the mechanical support. And xylem will be conducting only water and minerals which is present in the soil, but the phloem will be supplying the food which is stored, and it will be supplied to each and every part of the plant body. So the xylem and phloem plays an important role in conducting these food as well as water to different parts of the plant. They are having more than one type of cells in them. That's why they are considered as the complex permanent tissue. So next we will be learning about the protective tissue. So what are protective tissue and in what way they will help the plant to protect from either from the pathogens or from any injury. So in what way this protective tissue it will help. So the protective tissue. So what is meant by protective tissue? So the protective tissue, that is first is the epidermis. So where this epidermis is present. So epidermis, it is present on the all young stems. In the young plant you can see the epidermis outermost covering, and it helps in protecting. And in desert plants it is consist of the cuticle. So what is the role of this cuticle means? It is having the waxy coating. It is having the waxy coating. Due to the waxy coating, it prevents the loss of excess water. So it prevents the loss of excess water. That's why in case of this desert plant you can see the cuticle. So last one is about the stomata. They are the small pores which are present on the leaves, and what is their main function means it helps in exchange of gaseous material. And the last one is core. So the epidermis later on in the trees you can see it develops many layers, and it forms the core and it acts as the insulator. So that's why it is used in making the sports goods. For example, cork ball and shuttlecock. So this is about the protective tissue. So let us meet and learn about the animal tissue in my next class. Thank you.